we've seen the lockdowns be justified over and over and over and over again, and then all of a sudden 10 to 30,000 people in the one space, no problem.
Yeah. Look, I think as just has been said, it's really deeply concerning. Like, as a Christian pastor, for months now, people haven't been able to attend funerals of loved ones in the capacity that they want to, or weddings. Churches have been locked down. I think overall, I think Christians in Australia from all denominations have really done their utmost to honour the government restrictions. And then all of a sudden, like that, Gladys just opens the floodgates, and it's like 30,000 people can just go into the streets, and it's like COVID never happened.
I sort of have to walk two lines with this, because one, obviously I live in an area where there are the most vulnerable Aboriginal people in the country. And if COVID were to get into any of these communities, it would cause absolute devastation. And of course, these were the cries that took place when Australia first started experiencing cases of COVID-19, to the point where there was a article in SBS NITV where the author claimed that if there's to be a devastating outbreak and Scott Morrison is seen as doing nothing, then this can be likened to genocide. Once again, it's going to be a white person's fault if COVID-19 gets into a remote community, and it's going to be the government's fault, and it's going to be genocide. Well, we haven't had that. But what we do see then is Black Lives Matter protesters going out against social distancing restrictions, effectively putting themselves and their families at risk of contracting the virus. And so I guess if we do see in a couple of weeks a second wave as a result of these protests, well, they certainly can't. Are we going to blame activists for genocide?
It is. That's the objection. Sorry, Mark. I saw. Can't remember his name right now, but there was and Alexander Downer was commenting that there's the rights want the right want restrictions ended, but then complain about the protests. And I replied, Mr. Downer, no, we're not complaining about the protests. We're complaining about the hypocrisy of holding the protests by the people who have been swearing black and blue that it's not safe to be within 1.5 meters of somebody else. And Jacinta, you're exactly right. They take the biggest risks with the biggest at-risk community in this, while saying that this community is at risk of not having its health concerns taken seriously. The hypocrisy could be cut with a knife. It was terribly disappointing. It's not enough to do nothing. It's time for us to do something.